What up? Y'all remember me? I know it's been a long time. Like a month. Actually, more than a month. Because I checked. I know. I know. I know. I know. And I don't even want to get into it. It's been a month. That's all I can really say, honestly. And so let's just get to it. You know what I'm saying? Let's not play around. Let's not talk about why I haven't been here. Let's just have a good pod. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, y'all? This is the Sexual Intellectual Podcast, believe it or not. Still hanging on, still here, still alive and ticking. And I am your host. For anybody out there watching and listening, thanks. I appreciate you sticking around this long. Who am I? I'm your host, JD, aka He Who Pods, aka He Who Needs a Haircut and a Shave, aka He Who's Been Gone Too Long. But I'm back. And we got a lot to talk about. Man, there's been so much going on that honestly, I don't even have time to play catch up on all the stuff that we've missed. Because we've missed so much. In this last month, crazy stuff has been happening, and I don't even have time to get into all of it. So what I am going to get into are some of the things that I feel passionate about that have been going on in the last week or so. And then we're going to get into some fun stuff too. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, a lot of this pod is going to be political. You probably guessed that already. And so I won't be hitting the politics as usual drop. It'll return probably next episode. Also, we have to talk about UAPs, aka UFOs, but not today. Maybe next episode. I will probably do another episode soon that will be centered around all the UAP slash UFO stuff because it's been wild this month with all of the UAP slash UFO stuff. All right. So where do we start? Let's start with talking about my peers. Who are my peers? Podcasters. Really, I want to talk about podcast listeners, podcast fans. Maybe not you, but maybe someone you know. Maybe some people you know. Maybe you could play this next segment for some of those people. Here's what's been happening, and it's been driving me absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's been driving me crazy. Uh, Podcasters are simply people with opinions, microphones, and some way of recording the audio and video of what they're saying. That's really it. And when I want to say that, I'm saying that to say this. There are not requirements besides that to be a podcaster. Some people are consistent, some people are inconsistent, like me. Some people are entertaining, some people are not. That's subjective. Some people are very bold and opinionated, some are not. There's all type of stuff going on. But let me tell you what's not going on. Most podcasters, and I'm saying most because there are people who podcast who are professionals, doctors, lawyers, they've got master's degrees and bachelor's degrees and years of experience in their fields. But that's not the case for most people. And most of the people going viral, most of the people you see when you're scrolling on the gram or when you're going on your For You page, however you scroll, this is how old people scroll. However you do that in your free time when you're just consuming content and seeing these clips with the virality that catch you with the salacious titles that be on the screen, boom, 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 big bold words, right? Or you're just scrolling and you hear a little something, oh wow, what they say right there? Oh, that was crazy. That was wild. Let me hear this whole clip. Those are the people I'm talking about when I am about to say these things about podcasters. Most podcasters are not professionals. They are not experts. They are not scientists. They're just people with opinions. And what has been happening lately is I have been seeing a lot of podcasters speaking very matter-of-factly. They're speaking as if what they say is written in stone, as if it is expert analysis, and it's not. It's just opinion. That's all it is, folks. Just opinion. Just their thoughts. Thoughts of a person just like you, just like me, right? I come up here and I speak about politics, sometimes finances. I speak about different things in sex and dating. I don't have any degrees in any of those things, okay? I don't have a degree in any political field, any degrees at all. If y'all want to keep it frank up here, I don't have any problem being honest up here on this platform. I don't have any degrees. You know what I'm saying? I got the good enough degree. You feel what I'm saying? For those who ain't from the hood, that's a high school equivalency diploma. It means I didn't graduate high school, but I got one of these and it works. And so I use my thoughts and my eyes, all four of them, to analyze and critically think and deliver thoughts and sometimes just share information. That's what I like to do. Share information, right? From in out to y'all, out to the internet, out to the interwebs. But I am not Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not a scientist, right? I'm not Andrew Huberman, I think is his name. I'm none of those people, right? Even the very famous, infamous Joe Rogan, he's just a guy. He's just a guy. He had a specific expertise, but that's not what most of the people on his podcast come and talk about. They don't talk about UFC and jiu-jitsu and training. There are people like that, but he has all type of guests and he shares his thoughts and opinions. When he's doing so, he's just sharing what he thinks up here. It doesn't mean what he says is informational gold. It doesn't mean what any of us say is something that is legitimate, backed by science and backed by facts. You can come up here and say any crazy nonsense as long as you hit record. That's all you really got to do. Okay? And so people are up there saying on podcasts all type of crazy shit, all type of nonsense, and people are consuming it and taking it in as if it's facts. And this is the problem I'm having. Before we get into our normal usual pod, I got to get on my soapbox one time and get some shit off my chest. You feel what I'm saying? This is what I have to get off my chest. People are taking podcast clips and podcasters' tweets and threads and posts as if they are legitimate gold. Often, what we are really doing is connecting with a thought pattern or an opinion that is similar to our own. Right? Here's a random example. If I felt that the best pizza on the planet was made in Brooklyn, New York, and I start finding these different podcast clips and videos of people talking about, I just ate this pizza from Brooklyn. It's the best shit I ever tasted, man. Never had pizza so good in my life. This pizza's better than when I went to Italy. People are taking it and saying, oh man, look, you see that video? I told you that this was the best pizza on the planet. It's a fact. Look at this guy saying it on a podcast. Look at this guy saying it in a video. For those who are listening and not watching, I'm just glancing around the room right now, trying to figure out, why are y'all doing that? And I would like to think that my listeners and viewers are more intelligent than that. I was going to say educated, but educated often gets misinterpreted, and that's a topic for another time. I would like to think y'all are more intelligent, and y'all are not simply taking these things as facts, as the 10 Commandments, right? I say 10 Commandments in a joking way because that's kind of what happens. People latch on to things, and it's like, this is the word of God. This is what I must live and die by. Why? You don't have to. Not only do you not have to, you probably shouldn't. Because podcasters are people just like you. The difference is they just cut on a microphone, honk a horn. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, they cut on a microphone, maybe cut on a camera, and they hit record. That's it. That's the difference, right? Dr. Dre had a song that the hook said, "What's the difference between me and you?" That's the difference, folks. Okay? The difference is they're just voicing them publicly. Why? That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. Why people podcast, different topic for a different time. But that's all they're doing. And if they are not saying anything that backs these statements, if they're not presenting any evidence, presenting anything that supports these thoughts, then you don't have to believe it, agree with it, consume it, and definitely you should not take it as law. You should not take it as something that is 100% undoubtedly true. I come from the question everything era, right? We hear shit and be like, what you said? Huh? Eh? That don't really make sense. I gotta think about it. Let me see. That's before the interwebs. You know what I'm saying? That's how old I am. Before the internet, we wasn't just believing shit. We said, I gotta think about that. I'm gonna have to go to the library. I'm gonna ask somebody I know and trust what they know about this topic. Because you can't just say any old thing. You know what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. You sure? Did you see it? We didn't just be like, oh, well, that's what he said. So that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the end of my little rant. Critical analysis, although it's dying today, common sense, although it died a long time ago, are still things that we should use. We should still look at things, analyze things, and ask ourselves, what validity does this statement have? It's no different than when I come up on here and I say, hey, don't believe me, go check sources you trust, not just anybody on a news channel saying anything. It's the same thing. Podcasters have less requirements than people on the news. People on the news have some kind of vetting process. There's no vetting process for podcasters. It's just you got some shit to say. You feel brave enough to say it publicly. Go ahead. And it's really not publicly because truth be told, I'm sitting in my living room right now. You feel what I'm saying? So it's really not even publicly, but it will go out publicly, right? And so that's it. That's what they are. There's no real requirements. There's no verification process. It's just whoop, hit the record buttons and go off, baby. Go off. All right, that's enough of that. Move on. Let's get this podcast popping. Let's go to the notes. The notes. Gotta go to notes. Gotta go to notes now. Gotta go to notes. Gotta go to notes. That's the remix. The JD Nero remix of the old Models commercial. You know what I'm saying? They used to say, gotta go to Mo's. I told y'all I'm old. I'm old. Okay? Showing my age today. All right. So, we're going to hit a couple terms of the week. Been gone a few weeks, so I want to make sure I provide some value for y'all today. Let's get into terms of the week. All right? Our first term is quite popular. You know, I like to use the popular terms. I like to come up here and talk about the terms that are dominating the internet and interesting terms that just happen to come across my ears or my feed and share them with y'all. And I would like to discuss something that has really been pissing me off. I'd like to discuss something that I've been hearing for far too long, something I've been hearing people use wrong very often, and something that honestly annoys the shit out of me. The term of the week, our first term of the week, is mansplaining. I pause for dramatic reasons, dramatic effect. I have been hearing mansplaining everywhere. It's on podcasts, it's in group chats, it's in casual conversation. I was eating somewhere and the person across was talking to the person they were with about somebody mansplaining. I hate this shit. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But first, let's go to the term. What the hell does mansplaining even mean? What does that even mean? That should be the drop for term of the week. All right. So, believe it or not, Oxford Dictionary says mansplaining, the explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. Okay? Let's go to Merriam-Webster's, because I like to show y'all multiple sources, show you that I'm not just searching Google and that's it. Okay? Mansplaining. To explain something to a woman in a condescending way that assumes she has no knowledge about the topic. She has no knowledge about the topic, assuming that she has no knowledge about the topic. Okay? That, my friends, is Merriam-Webster. I gave y'all the two, Oxford and Merriam. If y'all don't like those, y'all could go check Urban Dictionary or something. But that's mansplaining. Mansplaining is not just about explaining something to a woman. It is about doing so in a specific way. So as you can see, it says very clearly that it is with a condescending tone. That's one. And two, you're assuming that the woman doesn't know shit about this topic. Okay? It's like, I'm not even going to give an example actually. But this is the problem. It's not just when a man explains something. And that's what's been pissing me off. Anytime a woman hears a man explaining something now that they don't want to hear, it's like, oh, he about to mansplain, y'all. I'm sure he about to mansplain, y'all. Oh, you gonna mansplain it to me? Really? That's not what mansplaining is. Just because you don't want to hear it doesn't make it mansplaining. It is when he's assuming you don't know anything about the topic and he's doing so in a condescending or patronizing way. Not just when a man is genuinely just trying to help. And I've even been in instances, personally, it's getting real personal up here today. I might have to call this the personal episode. I don't know. But I've even been in situations where I ask someone, hey, you know what this means? Have you heard about this? And they say, oh, no. And then I start explaining. And they say, oh, so you gonna mansplain it to me now? What? That's not even what it means. If we're going to use terms, folks, let's use them correctly. Okay? So that is what mansplaining means. That's our first term of the week. Let's go to number dos. Número dos. That's number 2. Close that tab. Bam. Where we headed? Where we headed? Where we headed? You know what? Let's stick with the ladies. Ladies. Wouldn't it have been fly if like a bunch of ladies just ran out? It was like, yes. That'd have been interesting. I'm sure my DMs would have been interesting this week. All right, let's move on. So, I have come up here and told y'all about the quiet family, as I like to call them, right? Quiet quitting, and all the other. What's the other one? Quiet quitting. Oh man, so many. Let me see if I got it. Hold on. Because actually, the other article quotes the other ones. Bam. Let me see. Quiet quitting. Oh man, this isn't it. Oh, wrong article. Oops. Too many articles. Too little time. All right, here we go. another addition to the quiet family, as I like to call it, is lazy girl jobs. Yo, what the hell? So Forbes wrote an article about it. I said, let me check it out. So here's what Forbes says. All right. Over the past few years, the notion of quiet quitting has entered the workforce conversation, with some, like myself, not me, the writer of this article, appreciating its work-life blend appeal, while others dismiss it as pure laziness. It turns out many Gen Zers are just fine with being called lazy, with being called lazy. In fact, Gen Z TikToker, I ain't saying her name, coined the term lazy girl jobs to describe her generation's version of quiet quitting. In her definition, lazy girl jobs are non-technical remote roles that pay decently, minimize coworker interaction, and allow a significant level of flexibility. And hint, such jobs are not just for women. People who actively seek this kind of work are not necessarily lazy. In fact, she says that word was chosen primarily for its marketing / SEO impact in the phrase. These young people just want to do their work with plenty of time and energy left for the rest of their life, which they see as more meaningful than their job. And so there you have it, folks. Lazy girl jobs. So if these are the type of jobs you try to acquire, now you have a new term you can share with your friends. You can tell them, yo, girl, I'm just looking for a lazy girl job. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really even trying to do no crazy fly shit. I ain't trying to work hard. I ain't trying to be sweating. I don't want to deal with these coworkers. Tom always messing up the spreadsheets. I ain't trying to mess with Tom. Shout out to my listener who often complains to me about Tom. I got you. And so now you won't have to deal with Tom messing up the spreadsheets. You know what I'm saying? Get you a lazy girl job. Just kidding. But wait, we're not done with the quiet family just yet, folks. What? You mean there's more lazy stuff going on? Don't you know it? There sure is. All right. Now, Forbes likes to talk about lazy stuff. I don't know. Another Forbes article. All right. The headline reads, "Forget quiet quitting in 2024. Employees want employers to quietly manage." Quietly manage? All right, let's see what it says here. All right, it says here, it's not me, it's you. This could be the cliff notes to part 2 of the 2023 Digital Work Trends Report, in which 34% of employees say they have to guess their priorities at work. Yikes. According to this new research from Slingshot, companies rushed to address quiet quitting in 2023 when an employee might be Okay, I thought I read it wrong. When an employee might be chronically disengaged at work. Oh, chronically disengaged. I like the way they describe that right there. Sorry. Doing the bare minimum of what is required. When employees are not functioning fully, it can become an invisible drain on a company's engagement and productivity. So, managers address the problem with constant checking and long, drawn out status meetings, neither of which work, revealing a disconnect between the standard of work that leaders expect and oh, you see? Right in the throat. Y'all saw that? Yeah, saw that? The saliva tried to had to shift it back to its proper place. If not, I've been in here with the COVID cough for us. Dad had been like, he need to go to the doctor. He should be at a City MD right now. All right, back to the term. So, drawn out status meetings, neither of which work, revealing a disconnect between the standard of work that leaders expect and what employees need to be productive and perform well, according to Dean Guida, founder of Slingshot and CEO of Infrastructistics. Infrastructistics. What? What is your company called, people? Infragistics. Infragistics. What a name. All right, anyway, told me. Wow, all of that to say told me. Sheesh. Anyway, so, quote, when employees don't know what their priorities are, many will guess what's most important or simply choose what to do. I get it. Because, nigga, if I don't know the priorities, what you want me to do? Right? Right? Okay, sorry. This often does not line up with what leaders believe need to be prioritized and leaves them scrambling to finish tasks or meet deadlines. This is caused by a lack of visibility across teams and alignment in goals and objectives. Despite more frequent contact with their managers, 34% of employees say they still have to guess their priorities at work, and 64% say they're losing at least between 1 and 2 productive hours a day because they don't have deadlines. What employees say that they really want from employers in 2024 is clear priority. What employees say they really want from employers in 2024 is clear priorities, 42%, and set deadlines, 30%. Slingshot's report shines a light on how employee productivity and performance is impacted by many of the things that they look to their leaders for, including priorities, deadlines, and the amount of work they're responsible for. Gotta be honest, I'm a little confused here. This is talking about genders and all type of stuff. I'm so confused. Lucy? Lucy? Quietly manage. All right, listen. Basically, employees want clear instructions and they want managers to chill out. They used to say in my family, Cógelo suave, papi. Cue up suavemente. No, I'm just kidding. You see what the curls did? You know, see what happens? That's why I got to get my hair cut, y'all. Donate to my Cash App for hair. I'm just kidding. Life ain't that hard. Could y'all imagine if I was asking y'all to donate for a haircut? I probably shouldn't even be potting if that's the case. All right. Now, that was a lot. That kind of left me a little winded. Do y'all feel winded? Because, maybe we got to cut some of that out. I don't know. But, can't cut it. You know why? Because the next term is another one. That's right, DJ Khaled. Another one. Another term for the Quiet family. It's a popular family, y'all. The branches, they just keep growing and spreading. It's like Loki in the multiverse. And so, you guessed it, Forbes again. Forbes might have a trademark on quiet everything. You know what I'm saying? They write about all the quiet stuff. And so this headline reads, "The quiet cutting trend is a controversial leadership strategy, new study shows." So we got now quiet cutting. What the hell is that? I don't know. We're going to find out together. But apparently it's a trend. So let's talk about it. There's a lot of quiet action taking place under the radar in today's business world. Quiet culture workplace trends such as quiet firing, quiet quitting, and quiet hiring were intended to assuage the immediate and acute needs of businesses. Instead, they have backfired, creating suspicion, mistrust, and low morale. We know that. Let's get to the good stuff. What the hell is quiet cutting? The practice of quiet cutting is an old practice with a new name. It involves employers reassigning workers so two new roles in hopes they will eventually quit, so the company saves the cost of severance. That's foul. It does not say in the Forbes article that's foul. I'm inputting that's foul. Smart business move, but it's foul. Okay? To dig deeper into this controversial approach to modern day layoffs, the team at Zetwork surveyed 1,015 business owners and employees across various industries. I'm not saying which industries. The generational breakdown among participants doesn't matter. I don't care about that either. The Zetwork team discovered that nearly 24% of employers practice quiet cutting for reasons of performance management, 73%, cost savings, 42%, reorganization, 33%, and employee turnover, 16%. I'm no mathematician, but that was a lot more than 100%. And yes, I'm being a jerk. All right. What else? Uh, those companies that encourage quiet cutting end up firing more than 1 in 3 of the employees that they reassign. Yeah. So they're moving people around in hopes that you quit or that they can fire you because you're fucking up. That's wild. And that is quiet cutting, the new trend, folks. Now, speaking of trends, let's talk about something that is trending. This is a total switch up, but it is a trend. And actually, this is old, so it may not be a trend anymore, but I think this is interesting nonetheless. I've had this saved for quite some time, but I didn't get a chance to get to it, so we get into it today, folks. It says here on psychologytoday.com, master dating, the new TikTok dating trend. The self-reflection, self-care approach can end up being self-empowering. Master dating is going out on dates alone to get to know yourself better and take care of yourself. Master dating can reveal whether you can actually be by yourself rather than always needing a partner. Taking time out for real self-reflection and self-care can help your health and life in many ways. You can't find the right partner and relationship without better knowing and taking care of yourself. Okay, I didn't notice this, listen. I'm going to stop it right there. There ain't much more for me to read. I know that was just the key points. Y'all could put a term on it if you want, but let me let you know, nothing wrong with going on a date by yourself. Listen, we all have sexy time alone, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get the lotions and the potions and the vibrators and the toys and whatever you use. The plugs, whatever. Some of y'all just got the machine now. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. It just anyway, that was excessive. The same way you spend time with yourself for pleasure, there's nothing wrong with spending time with yourself to get to know yourself. If you can't spend time alone, that is a problem. And so, I'm not against this master dating thing. If that's what people are doing, I think there's sometimes you just need a day out alone. The same way people go on vacations with their friends and escape, sometimes you just need time for you. And self-care is something, if y'all follow my other, company, brand, whatever, if y'all follow any of the stuff I do on Cherry or More Butters, I'm all about self-love and self-care. It is vital. We all need it. And in fact, in this society, I don't think we do it enough. I think we should be going on more solo dates. And in fact, quote unquote, dating yourself, if that's what y'all want to call it, to really get to know yourself and your wants and your needs is really actually smart. Because like the key point says, it allows you to get to know what do you need from someone else? What do you not need from someone else? What are you cool with doing all by yourself? Knowing these things can help you in a lot of ways. My bestie often, I can't talk. My bestie often says, sometimes knowing what you don't want will help you figure out what you do want. Shout out to bestie. Let's move on. time for our quickie segment. And I got a couple for y'all. You know, I got to give y'all a couple of quickies. Got to get a couple of quickies. So, our first quickie is kind of wild. Y'all could check it out. Just a quickie. Y'all know quickies. I just read the headline, say a little piece. That's our quickie segment. If you're new around here, it's okay. So is the quickie segment. Introduced it very recently. And so, here comes the quickie segment. All right? Our first quickie is about Costco's. I know, it's kind of weird. Actually, it's not even called Costco. It's Costco. We all say it wrong. Different conversation for a different time. Maybe you think it's the Mandela effect. Ha! Another conversation for another time. All right. So this is from CNBC. Costco sold more than $100 million in gold bars last quarter. I'm going to say it again. Costco sold more than $100 million in gold bars last quarter. And on that note, next quickie. All right. You probably saw this. It's been everywhere. But the I'm quoting New York Post. I'm going to start quoting my sources because people who in the comments, they like to say shit like I'm making shit up. They like to say that I'm making stuff up. I don't read. I don't have sources, whatever. So I'm quoting my sources more and more. This is from the New York Post. Headline reads, ex-Facebook diversity manager pleads guilty to bilking $4 million from company in kickback scheme. A former Facebook diversity program manager pleaded guilty to scamming the social media giant out of more than $4 million through a scheme in which she faked business deals in exchange for kickbacks, the Justice Department said. Gangster. Scamming the scammers. You feel what I'm saying? Next topic. All right. Get this next quickie popping. What's my next one? Oh, Apple. Where's this headline? I saved it just for y'all. For all my friends with Apple. Actually, it don't have anything to do with like your devices, but Apple to end credit card partnership with Goldman Sachs. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Reuters also posted it. I saved both of them just in case, but who knew Apple had a credit card deal with Goldman Sachs? Did y'all know that? If you have any Apple device, please put in the comments whether you knew that or not. I didn't. It's the first time I even heard of this. Y'all should go check it out. Interesting topic, interesting articles, interesting situation. But they are ending the credit card agreement. Ain't really, credit card partnership. That's it, folks. Nothing left to say there. Let's move on. All right, another quickie. I mean, I don't need to do it, so I'm just going to say, I'm not going to quote anything. I'm just going to say, Hunter Biden, shit is going down. And Daddy Biden, shit is going down. What do I mean? Hunter Biden, his legal case has changed. Plea deal is off. And look like he's going to do jail time, folks. Also, because of the things that are being found and said within those investigations, the president of the United States, President Biden, Hunter Biden's dad, it looks like they will be impeaching him. They are trying to impeach him as we speak. And so they are trying to see, has President Biden, Joe, been involved in dirty dealings in cahoots with his son Biden? This could be a big thing. And stay tuned. More to come. Until then, I don't have much more to say, but we should start looking into this, folks. Let's get your popcorn. Listen, the same way I always pick on the Republicans when they do wild shit, I got to pick on the Democrats too. This shit is wild. You know what I'm saying? The stuff they're saying that Hunter Biden did is kind of crazy. I ain't mad at him because if my dad was super rich and powerful, I might do some wild shit too. I don't know. But that's our next quickie. All right, now get to this end of the pod here. We almost done, folks. Trying to make sure this was a lengthy but valuable and hopefully a little bit entertaining too. A little sprinkle, a little dash, a little sprinkle, So this is from thehill.com.
The U.S. vetoed a UN draft resolution that called for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. The U.S. was the only country to vote against the resolution, which did not include any language at all to condemn Hamas for their October 7th attack against Israel. 13 countries voted in favor of the draft resolution, in part citing the thousands of Palestinians who have already lost their lives after Israel's military occupation following the October 7th attack. The U.S. voted against it, and the U.K. abstained. U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the UN, Robert A. Wood, he says that the draft resolution was rushed and, quote, divorced from reality.
Okay, so the update is, and this is from The Hill, 10 countries, including the United States and Israel, opposed the resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza that was overwhelmingly passed by the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday of last week now. So today's Saturday. All right. The United Nations General Assembly passed the resolution with 153 in favor, 10 opposed, and 23 absentee. 23 people didn't vote. Can't pronounce the word right now. That calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, where Israel has. I'm not reading that. Okay. It also calls for parties to obey international humanitarian law and demands that Hamas release hostages it kidnapped during the surprise attack on October 7th, which left allegedly more than 1,200 Israelis dead. All right. So the point here is, I bring this up to say that I told y'all this conflict is not new. I have been telling y'all for a while up here that the United States makes it very clear who their allies are, even if they don't say it publicly. The way we donate our dollars, the way that we vote to do things in the UN and in the G8 and the G7, whatever, these things are clear. Malcolm X once said, "I believe people's actions, not their words." And I'm gonna put a clip up here of Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter, in an interview in 2007. He spoke about all of this. And forget about me, as I said earlier in this podcast. I'm not some expert. I'm not some verified, highly educated person with tons of degrees stacked up. I didn't have some deep state government job. So forget about me. Listen to your president, Jimmy Carter.
The word apartheid is exactly accurate. This is an area that's occupied by two powers. They're now completely separated. The Palestinians can't even ride on the same roads that the Israelis have created or built in Palestinian territory. The Israelis never see a Palestinian except their Israeli soldiers. The Palestinians never see an Israeli except at a distance, except the Israeli soldiers. So within Palestinian territory, they're absolutely and totally separated, much worse than they were in South Africa, by the way. And the other thing is, the other definition of apartheid is one side dominates the other, and the Israelis completely dominate the life of the Palestinian people.
Why don't Americans know what you have seen?
Americans don't want to know, and many Israelis don't want to know what is going on inside Palestine. It's a terrible human rights persecution that far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land. I think it's accurate to say that not a single member of Congress with whom I'm familiar would possibly speak out and call for Israel to withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians. or even to call publicly and repeatedly for good faith peace talks. There hadn't been a day of peace talks now in more than 7 years. So this is a taboo subject, and I would say that if any member of Congress did speak out, as I've just described, they would probably not be back into Congress the next term.
Well, there you have it. Okay? Like I said, this is not new. And there's Jimmy Carter's thoughts. One last thing before we go. I know this is a long pod. You know, very often we speak about the economic gap, the wealth gap, they like to call it, between blacks and whites in this nation. And, you know, there are some of us, speaking personally, there are some of us who believe that the system is set to create racial disparities and create different hardships. And sadly, well, let me pause. There are others who feel the opposite, that this is something that used to exist, but no longer does in this great nation. They feel that America has gotten past that. There is not racial division. There is not an equity gap. There is not a financial gap. And people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That's what some people feel. But then we see evidence of these things still existing today. And it's sad sometimes to see that these things are still existing. Sometimes it's not good to be right, is what I mean to say, right? Sometimes it doesn't feel good to be right. And sadly, these things are still going on. And so, this is from CNN Business. The headline reads, "The nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants." The largest credit union in the United States has the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers. Let's try it again. The largest credit union in the U.S. has the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender, a trend that reached new heights last year, a CNN analysis found. Navy Federal Credit Union, which lends to military service members and veterans, approved more than 75% of the white borrowers who applied for a new conventional home purchase mortgage in 2022, according to the most recent data available from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But less than 50% of black borrowers who applied for the same type of loan were approved. There's a lot more in this article. Y'all could go look it up if you want. But the point remains. I don't think there's much for me to say here except that the shit has not died. This stuff has not stopped. And the fact that these things are still happening speaks volumes about what's going on inside this great nation. It's really sad. I feel it's purposefully done. It is not the system failing. I feel it is the system doing exactly what the system was set up to do. Okay? And that's it. I'm going to end things on a bit of a somber note, but I want y'all to just think about these things. The clip I played from Jimmy Carter and what's going on right now, because both of these things, both topics are old but new. Both topics are something that has been going on for a long time and is still going on, despite all of the technological advances, despite how many things have changed from generation to generation. Certain things are not trends. They are embedded in our foundation. And I want y'all to really think about that. And what does that mean for our society? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for your children? What does that mean for this nation as a whole? I will see y'all real soon.